This is not my favourite colour. I don't particularly care for dim, blurry images either. So how about this? An IPS screen for the Game Boy made by FunnyPlaying. Yeah, the original Game Boy screen has not aged well. Even in good condition, it's not so great on the eyes in my opinion, but people dealt with it back then. That was the early 90s, and now, some 30 years later, screen technology has come far enough to drastically improve the whole thing for many portable systems. If you like keeping things authentic and original, you may not want to watch this one.
It's a good day when you get a box from Retro Gaming Parts in the mail.
Alright, so what's in the box?
What's in the box?
We have a very nice glass lens, a screen bracket, the new PCB, which has some fun surprises I'll show you later, the IPS panel itself, foam gasket, if that's what that's called, and associated ribbon cables. This is the site that I bought it all from, which is based in Australia, which is greatly convenient for me, living there and all, and they do all kinds of mods for many kinds of handhelds as well as other stuff too, including new shells that are pre-cut specifically for this mod. The screen brackets and glass lenses that I got are also sold separately from the IPS screen kit, so make sure you add them manually if you want them to. With everything we need at the ready, let's begin. In this thing we have my original childhood black Game Boy next to my sister's one with the ghastly stickers on it. Neither of them are in fantastic shape, but that's what happens when little me gets a hold of things.
No, it's not real! It's not real!
We'll be focusing on my one in this instance, and the first thing I'm going to do is clean it up, because I haven't touched this thing in a very long time. And to do that, we have to take it apart with a painful to use Chinese-made tri-wing screwdriver. You can get a better quality one, it's up to you. There are 6 tri-wing screws on the back, and once they're deleted, we can lift the back piece up. But do it slowly, because there's a ribbon cable keeping the two halves together, which is easy enough to deal with. Just pull it out, it's not hard. Game Boys have 2 boards, as you can see, and the one we want to remove is the one with the buttons and screen attached, which thankfully has the more conventional Phillip head screws, of which there are 10 to remove. Once that board is out, I take the opportunity to clean the button membranes, the buttons themselves, and that front half of the shell. The latter off camera, of course. I don't know why I don't film those things, but there you go. Now, if it wasn't for this next step, this whole thing would be a straight drop-in replacement, but we do in fact have some soldering to do. You see, the new board doesn't come with a speaker. You can buy new ones for really cheap on that website I mentioned earlier, or you can use your original one, which is what I'm doing because it's just there. This part is a real breeze. Just desolder 2 wires, solder the same 2 wires again on the new board to the conveniently labelled solder points, and yeah, that's it. Now you can put your soldering iron away. And I do use flux now. So all those people saying I need flux, I hope you're happy. It's made me happy, it's made things a lot easier. This is the part that might offend people. If you're using an original shell, you will have to make some cuts here and there. First, we need to widen the screen area, since the IPS panel is 11% bigger than the original. The way I do that is by finding something with a straight edge, such as this phone tripod adapter thing, and positioning it so I can make an incision with my trusty rusty Stanley knife, just a few millimeters in. Once I'm happy with that, I'll take my trusty rusty Stanley knife and start chiseling and scraping away like a madman, slowly cutting back far enough to meet my lines. I'll then use sandpaper to smooth out the edges, and then, with a file, round out the edges for a smoother feel. We'll also need to cut off these screw posts towards the top of the screen area. This is where I wish I had flush cutters, but I managed to smooth down my mess with some more sandpaper. This could all end up looking messier than you'd wish, but this will be covered up by the screen lens. Now we'll attach the foam gasket, making sure to get the orientation correct. Once it's down, don't take the film off the backside, because that will leave adhesive that will stick to the new screen, which you don't want in case the screen ends up being misaligned or worse. If that's something you are worried about, like I am, someone with really irritating obsessive compulsive behaviors, then I really recommend getting one of these brackets, built specifically for this occasion. Before the screen enters the bracket, I need to attach the ribbon cable, like so. It's pretty easy to get the panel in the bracket, and once it's in firm. But that's not an excuse to shake it or anything, don't do that. This tape I'm putting down is to, well, minimize wobbling, that's pretty clear to see. Peeling the protective film off the screen, I flip it over and slide it into position in the shell. It looks really nice in there, especially after attaching the glass lens. I'll peel the plastic off that later. I don't want to scratch it or anything. The buttons are put back in, and then they, with the screen and bracket, are held in place as I screw in the new PCB after attaching the screen's ribbon cable at the top. Note that because we had to cut some screw posts, it doesn't use all 10 of the original screws. Getting the fat ribbon cable attached to the other half of the Game Boy is a bit of a pain, but if you get it right and get it all the way in, it won't slip out again. Now I guess all I need to do is screw the thing back together and hope that's it. I don't see any reason why this shouldn't work so far. But we have to address another issue first. The battery contacts on my sister's Game Boy are very nice, clean and gleaming, while mine, well, they started drinking battery acid. That's what neglect does. So, alfoil time. Here it goes.
Okay, that's a bit irritating. How well can you see that it's on the outside, but I can't get rid of it? So, what? Just...
First impressions? This looks amazing. Even with a dirty cartridge.
Wow. I've got to clean the game. Ooh.
It's so crisp and so bright, it baffles me. Seeing these games that I grew up with in such high fidelity is giving me a new lease and a perfect excuse to play them again. I love this. The buttons feel great with their original membranes on the new PCB. Nothing really to report there, it just works. So, earlier I mentioned that the new PCB has some surprises. Well, yeah. What if you don't like the default brightness or color? Well, my friend, this is an exciting development. The brightness wheel is no longer a brightness wheel, but rather a bi-directional toggle switch that alters the brightness, and believe me, it gets bright. But wait, it's also a push button. If you press it in once and then toggle up or down, you get a whole slew of color scheme options. Personally, I like the whites and greys, and the negative option is a fun novelty. But that's not all. If you hold the button down for about 3 seconds, you trigger a sort of dot matrix mode, so it emulates the look of the original screen, and your brightness and color choices carry over too. This little switch does so much for personalization, and it's such a good selling point. Without needing to show you, which I'm doing anyway, the new screen absolutely decimates the original of 32 years ago, and I'm very, very happy with how this turned out. If you're not playing your original Game Boy because of the terrible screen,
or perhaps you've left it in a box, in a cupboard, with the battery still in it,
then this is a low-cost, very easy modification that makes the Game Boy so much more accessible. The battery life is still excellent too. I should have mentioned that earlier, but there you go. Oh yeah, a cool guy on Facebook saw that I needed another battery cover, so they sent me one. It didn't cost me anything. This has been really fun and worth it. I hope you had fun too, or any other form of enjoyment. If you like this sort of thing, give subscribing a go, or letting me know in the comments. I reply to everything. And for now and as always, I'll be back in 16 bits.
Yeah, Chris wasn't kidding. I won't lie, the screen is actually pretty good. Having said that, how fucking bright can it go? I mean, I've been told it goes pretty bright. I'll give it a there we go. Give it a shot. Oh fuck.